one thought I could excel because of my early challenges in life. I was a sickly girl who grew up poor in a single-parent home with my mom as my primary caregiver. I looked different because of my illness. Skinny, pale, and almost no hair. I became so self-conscious that I could not pay attention in class. I was constantly ridiculed and called names. On top of that, my clothes were never on par with my classmates. My shoes were worn off. Clothes hung on me like an oversized coat on a hanger. And everyone knew that my mother did odd jobs and my dad had left us and formed a family on the other side of the city. So I knew a few things early in life: poverty, cancer, hunger, uncertainty, and bullying. And if you have been through any of this, like me, you would consider this a horror story. But what no one knew was that there was this fighting spirit within this skinny, bald-headed girl. They could not see on the inside that I was big, and with every challenge I grew stronger, building a superpower that would allow me to achieve and become everything of the woman I am today. As a child, I would have so much fun running around in the backyard. I can still recall that my siblings and I would race against each other to see who would be first to climb and reach those mangoes hanging off that Julie mango tree. That tree was seated right in the middle of the backyard. Oh, how sweet those mangoes were. But what I admired most about this mango tree was not the taste of the fruit it produced, but how the tree kept its poise and resilience in and out of the mango season and through every hurricane and storm. That tree reminded me of Dominica's original name, Waitu Koboli, which means tall is a body. I saw myself in that tree, regardless of being tiny and petite. I always said to myself, tall is your body. While I was the most petite, I was bold, brave, resilient, and confident in my skin. I had to keep reminding myself, because I felt like with so many people living under this one roof, as there would be a chance that no one would see me, I should see myself and my potential. So I became that little girl who would walk upright, sitting with such confidence and shoulders back, especially on those Sundays when we would all gather around on the couch in the kitchen as we shared that one bottle of Coca-Cola. And of course, the tallest person always got to drink from that famous glass bottle. That was not me. Those Sundays, we would watch Brian Lara outscore his opponents, batting as the West Indies cricket team gave us all a reason to rally around the West Indies and be proud of whom we are, knowing that we too can excel and accomplish our goal. It was no more fun or dreaming big dreams as life suddenly turned one day. I can vaguely remember that I could not walk in the early stages as I grew very feeble. So my mother would sling me over her back to take me to and from my appointments and school, sometimes walking up that steep, dark, gloomy hill. Then, the doctor finally gave us the news at one of the appointments. It was this dreaded diagnosis. Any family's worst nightmare. It was cancer. Acute lymphocytic leukemia. For me, there was no more racing through the shortcuts to see who would come home first, and no more running off to the standpipe at break time. I was like the sick widow. I grew pale and was pulled out of school because I could no longer pay attention. Everyone thought it was a lost cause, and I was just taking up space. Space that an able child could fill and excel within. This was when I learned to shrivel down and hide in my cocoon. It was happening so quickly. Family members had to make those hard choices. The doctors were holding on to a glimmer of hope because, like 80% of children who live in underdeveloped countries, access to treatment was only a dream, as we came from a poor household where my family could barely make ends meet. I was fighting for my life, but I held on to faith and on to the belief that in life, miracles do happen. And sometimes you can get lucky in life, as good people give you a shoulder to lean on, positively impacting your journey. Fortunately, my Nigerian doctor was able to make a case on my behalf, seeking assistance from a family who gave my mom and I room and board, and he also secured medical funding from both the government of Dominica and Trinidad and Tobago, allowing me to undergo life-changing treatment. I returned home from Trinidad and Tobago cancer-free. Even with a 12-year lease on life, then I knew that not even cancer could stop me. At age 4, bald-headed, wearing my gold and black graduation dress, I was granted leave from the hospital to attend my preschool graduation. And when I was asked what I wanted to become when I grew up, I said I wanted to become a nurse. That was the career I dreamt of, because apart from the women in my family, the nurses were strong women I grew accustomed to, laying in that secluded bedroom. I was optimistic, and my most significant source of motivation was those lights from the Linac, which gave me a glimmer of hope. They reminded me that there would be light at the end of the tunnel. But it was not every day that I was so hopeful. Cancer-free with the conditions of a 12-year lease on life, in that 12th year, I brought all my friends together. We danced, ate, and celebrated, because I was preparing to begin my journey in a new place. However, the good news is I hit the home run. I am a survivor, and that is my superpower. A survivor, I walked into a new chapter of my life, but I was still doing battle. I was healed from cancer and was still healing because the challenges kept hitting. That child who suffered from anxiety and depression as early as 8 years old wanted to grow up and was desperate to pursue her goals, setting herself free. Despite what they said or what other people's perception were, I made good grades and continued to press on. From first in class, certifications, a bachelor's degree, and an MBA, those accomplishments were my cover story. I sucked in those challenges for years, and it was not until I was hit so hard that I realized I had to strike back. One day, I told myself, Genitta, you must shift from a fixed to a growth mindset when facing challenges. In life, those balls might strike you. Some can attempt to knock you down, but you need to be resilient and keep hitting back. According to Rocky Balboa, it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving. And oh yes, I kept moving. I woke up accepting the true reality and decided it was time to take my power back. Face those fears and let go of the past. Did you know that you can pick yourself up using what you go through to grow through? While moving forward along my transformational journey, I picked myself up and went to my therapist. I said to him, "Doc, I am living this at the crease. I am living here, not out." When I reached for the door, he asked, "So Mom, what are you doing next?" I said to him, "You may notice that I only brought the balls and not the bats. Tall is my body, and as I stand at the crease, I will shift my mindset and refocus, batting for 6 as I view those challenges from a positive lens." He chuckled, and I continued, "I have found my voice, and I am going out into the world using my story to positively impact lives, letting people know that some challenges, in fact, those that hit you the hardest, can serve as the pillars you use to build that solid foundation." When I look back at my journey, I can say today that there are challenges that we will all encounter. Unfortunately, those challenges will keep hitting, but we should never allow them to knock us down. Catch your fight back, because like me, you can shift your mindset to overcome those challenges and achieve your lifelong dreams.